morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sir Meerkat, and welcome back to the Moto Meerkat channel. Now, obviously, I don't even have to question that your favourite YouTuber is Moto Meerkat, but to be fair, in the sort of F1 YouTube space, there are quite a few larger creators. Take people such as Aldas, Cranky Yankee, JW, Tomo, and even the 61st driver, Mr Mansell. But if you've only recently come across his channel, or if this is the first time that you're hearing about him, you may be thinking, what makes him think he can give me racing advice? I've been to Team Sport a few times, and I'm basically a pro. But to be fair to Mr Mansell, he's pretty good. So today, I thought I'd talk you through his sort of life story, his achievements, his passions, and how he's made it to the point that he's at today. So let's get into it. Scott was born on the 1st of October 1985 in Birmingham, England. That was a terrible accent. Like most racing drivers, Scott dreamt since he was a little kid about becoming a Formula 1 driver. And he sort of reached that goal, not quite racing for Formula 1, but you'll find out very soon why. Scott received his first go-kart at only the age of 4. Now, contrary to popular belief, the father of Mr Mansell is not actually Nigel Mansell, sadly. Although I think Scott would look quite dashing with that moustache. Scott's dad is actually named Kevin, and he was his racing idol, mentor, and father figure growing up. Now, Kevin actually raced Lotus Cortinas, which you would love to get a bit sideways, as shown in this beautiful little photo. What a showboater. Scott would, of course, follow in his father's footsteps and began racing karts at 8 years of age. There's not really a whole lot of information online about his karting career, but he must have been pretty solid, as he then jumped into single-seaters in his teenage years. He would take the reins of an F3000 car in 2002, competing in Euroboss, and then in 2003, Scott's Wikipedia page claims that he raced in British Formula Ford, but if you go onto the 2003 British Formula Ford Wikipedia page, his name is nowhere to be found, so... He continued racing in Euroboss in 2003 and 2004, but he has just slightly upgraded his whip from last time he was out. He started competing in a 1997 Benetton Formula 1 car at the age of 18. That is mad. Obviously, this was a bit of time ago. Since then, we've had Verstappen, Norris, Stroll, and many more drivers getting to race Formula 1 cars in their teenage years. But you've got to think, back in 2003, this was pretty unheard of. The team that he raced for was fittingly named Zig-Zag Mansell Motorsport. In 2003, Scott would not complete the full season, finishing 6th with 29 points, and Klaus Zwart, owner of Ascari Cars, would actually win the championship. The following year, in 2004, however, would be Scott's year, as he took the fight to class, and he really did just that, getting pole position and the win at the round in Silverstone, getting pole position and the win at the round at Brands Hatch, where he still actually holds the lap record of a 38.032 on the Indy layout. He would also achieve pole and a 2nd place at Donington Park after closely battling Klaas, as you can see right now, before having this whoopsie-daisy spinalla at the final corner. Oh dear, not Scott's finest moment there. And then the championship would return to Brands Hatch at the final round of the season, where Scott would also get pole and another 2nd place, meaning that these performances he'd had over the season, he just pit class to the title, 105 points to 99, crowning him Euroboss 2004 Champione. If you'd like to learn more about Euroboss and how it turned into Bosch GP, be sure to click the pop out in the top right corner to watch my video all about the history of Bosch GP. During that 2004 season, Scott not only broke the lap record at Brands Hatch, he also broke the lap record at Silverstone, Donington Park, Lausitzring, and Zolder. Thanks to this heroic showing of talent from such a young driver, the heads of some big names in motorsport were certainly turned. Now, Scott tested with Christian Horner at the Arden Formula 2 team, which obviously at the time was in GP2, and he also met with some very interested Formula 1 teams, but no deals ended up coming to fruition. Instead, Scott would assist with driver development, coaching, and setting up of the car for teams such as BAR, Tyrrell, Benetton, Jordan, and Minardi. And Scott would continue racing in other racing series, competing in 2 races in the IRL Infiniti Pro Series in the same year, and then in 2005 he would race in Indy Lights, obviously the lower division to IndyCar, and Scott would compete at 4 rounds of the 2006 season, where he would only finish 20th in the championship. After a few years out, Scott returned to racing in 2009, racing in Super League Formula for the football team Galatasaray, where he would end up finishing 9th in the standings. He would then return to the Boss GP, racing a Tyrrell 23 in 2010 to a pole and a podium at the 1 round that he attended, and then racing a Benetton 199 in 2011 to 2 podiums at the 2 rounds that he attended. In 2012, Scott was appointed the race coordinator and driver coach at the Lotus Formula 1 team that would then turn into the Renault Formula 1 team. This would include driving all sorts of cars, from things such as Formula Renault 3.5 all the way up to the Lotus Formula 1 car, you lucky bugger. During that time he was employed for Lotus/Renault. He did also continue doing some racing, using a Benetton B197 at the Classic Grand Prix in Baku, and also using a Benetton 199 in the Bosch GP, where he took 2 wins, a pole position, and 2 fastest laps. Another shorter gap away from racing later, and Scott would burst back onto the scene in 2015, firstly dipping his toes in the water with Radicals, then taking a break to race a Lola T210 before going full send in the Radicals, winning the Radical Enduro Championship with 4 wins, 4 podiums, 2 pole positions, and 2 fastest laps over the 13 race season. And I actually filmed Scott in a Radical at the Burkitt Relay this year that was over on the Alpha Live channel. But let me tell you, it was bloody cold. 2015 would also be the year that Scott would set up the Driver61 brand, which we know and love today, which is also probably the reason you're watching this video. It's definitely the reason why I'm making it. Now, as you may know, Scott makes lots of YouTube videos under the alias of Driver61, where he has amassed an impressive 410,000 subscribers and over 50 million views after uploading consistently for around 4 to 5 years. He makes videos on all sorts of motorsports that go viral consistently, videos such as dragster tires all the way to videos on Alonso's driving style. So there really seems to be everything and anything a motorsport fan could want, and he also gives lots of tips on his channel to fellow racers that want to get faster themselves, and that's also where Driver61.com comes in. On his website he offers training videos, circuit guides, and even sim racing advice, and it's in that section where you'll be able to book tuition from our favourite professional sim racer, Josh Ladd, who was featured on my Chatterbox podcast only a few weeks ago. Now obviously I don't want this video to start sounding like some kind of brand deal with Mr Mansell. We've had no dealings in the past. I just simply want to respect all the effort and dedication that he's clearly put in to building up that brand. It's fantastic to see. Scott would then continue racing in the Radicals and the Lola throughout this time period of doing the Driver61 brand before switching to a Ligier JSP3 in the Henderson LMP3 Cup Championship for 2017, where he finished 3rd in the championship after achieving a podium. He would then move on to the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship in 2019, where he completed 3 races, a fantastic choice of championship, I must say, and one that my brother has actually competed in as well. But where will we be seeing Scott racing next? He's obviously got heaps and heaps of talent, but I think it's also fair to say that he's slightly past his prime now. Not saying that 35 years is old or anything, but if I give Tom a stick and he's 27, it seems only fair, doesn't it, Scott? Now, whether due to COVID restrictions or simply out of his own choice, Scott has not actually competed in any championships in 2020, but I look forward to following whatever he decides to get up to in 2021, both off and on track, and I can't wait for future videos videos on the Driver61 channel. Now, Scott, if you're feeling like you need to take a break from this presenting malarkey, I'm always up for doing it, so just slide in my DMs, mate. But anyway, that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed yourself and feel like you learned something about Scott, Mr Driver61, then be sure to drop a like on the video below and subscribe to the Moto Meerkat channel as well, because I make lots of motorsport content that you're not going to want to miss. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I will see all of you meerkats later. Goodbye, guys.